What's good, YouTube? This is Boxingwave, man. I had to make this video, man. Canelo Alvarez interview with Sway in the Morning. All right, Sway in the Morning. If you're not familiar, Sway's been a part of the hip hop culture for like probably, I don't know, 25 plus years now. And even though this is not a sports podcast, it was an excellent interview with Canelo. I think that all the right questions was asked, and Canelo answered all of the questions in detail. You know what I mean? He didn't leave any speculation. You know, a lot of narratives been pushed over the years when it come to David Benavidez and even recently with Terrence Crawford. But I feel like Canelo answered the questions that a lot of people wanted to know. All right, and his promo towards the Edgar Berlanga fight. So there's been a lot going on. Obviously, we had the first press conference. The second press conference just ended a little while ago. And also, Turki Alalshikh had recently came out and, you know, he gave his statement at the Riyadh season card with Terrence Crawford and Israel Madrimov, basically saying that he offered Canelo, a lot of money, basically. This is what he said, to fight Crawford, and he would be wise to take the offer. I guess whatever amount he offered Crawford, it was a lot of money. But it doesn't seem like Canelo is still interested in taking the fight. So I don't know, maybe things could change. But before I get started, Turki Alalshikh had already responded to his recent statements on the night of the fight. And he took to social media and said, look, he just wrapped up an important meeting now with my team, planning for the upcoming fights that we will make for 2024 into 2025. I decided to disregard the Canelo fight as I don't want it anymore. All right. He says he doesn't want it anymore. Instead, I will be focusing for the U.S. market, bigger fights, especially for the legend Crawford. Additionally, I will support making fights for Boots, Haney, Shakur, Ortiz, Anderson, Benavidez, Zepeda, and more. Regarding Tim Tszyu, there's something unclear with the communications with his team, with our team. So I believe I will reconsider his situation. And for the rest of the world, definitely I focus on Riyadh season card, Wembley edition, 21st September, AJ versus Dubois. And depending on the results of the Riyadh season's opening card, Bivol versus Beterbiev on the 12th of October, I will build the card for a rematch for Fury and Usyk in the 21st of December, and another big card in the first quarter 2025. Stay tuned. So a lot was said there, but, you know, early in this tweet or this message, he addressed Canelo, said that he doesn't want to fight anymore with Crawford. Now, he doesn't say in details why. I don't know why. You know, Crawford won his fight. I don't know if it's because Canelo turned down the offer. I have no idea. All right, but Turki said he doesn't want to fight anymore. That could mean a number of things, and I'm not going to make any assumptions here. That's not what we're going to do. But this is going to be talking about what has been said by these fighters. All right? And, yeah, so let's get into it, man. Now, if you guys don't know how I feel about Crawford, I wasn't a guy that said that Canelo was ducking Crawford if he didn't fight him. But what Canelo said in this interview, when he was asked about Crawford, when he was asked about Benavidez, he was very detailed, about what he said, and there was no confusion because Canelo's English is phenomenal now. And the whole interview was in English. You don't need a translator at all, and he answered the questions thoroughly. And we don't have to continue with, as boxing fans, whether you're a fan, whether you do content like I do, or if you're in the mainstream media, we know what Canelo feels now about these fights. Okay, and he said for Crawford, like you said, I'll fight Crawford, but I need 150 million. All right, he said early in the interview, he said, look, I like Crawford, I think he's a great talent, but, I think if we were to fight, he would move a lot, and I don't like fighting guys that move a lot. This is what he said. But later in the interview, he also said, I think Crawford is an amazing talent, and I love the way he fights. Now, when it comes to Crawford, he brought up, he said he saw the fight with Madrimov, and he says, like, listen, there are weight classes for a reason, and He learned here that, he fight at 154. There are weight classes where like this is a bigger guy, And look, which one is it? Because it's like when it comes to 150 million, you're not interested in the fight, but you'll take it for 150 million, which is a lot of money. This is a lot of money, man. Like 50 million is a lot of money. 150 million is a lot of money to fight Crawford. And then even though Crawford is at the top of his game and he's more famous now than he's ever been, he's not Floyd. He's not Manny Pacquiao in his prime, or he's not Conor McGregor when Floyd fought him. There are guys that are on a different level as far as fame and when it comes to pay-per-view numbers, And even though guys like Crawford, Spence, Tank Davis, and, there are guys that are big, but there's guys that are at the elite as far as fame. So putting out the 150 million, the thing that confused me is like, you don't like guys that move, but you were cool with fighting Jermell Charlo, a couple fights ago. And that's the problem that I had with the inconsistencies with Canelo and the contradictions. All right, forget the fans, forget the content creators, forget the media. Let's just talk about what's being said. All right, and what's being said is here, like David Benavidez. He says, "Oh, I need to fight 200. I want 200 million for a David Benavidez fight. 200 million at least." All right. And he says, "What?" Well, caller came in and asked why. Is it the risk, or is it like what exactly was wrong? And he said, it's the weight. He said it on multiple times in his interview. This guy is going to come in 25 pounds more than me. This guy is going to be a bigger guy than me. So it's risk. I want 200 million because of the risk involved. This is what Canelo said, which is also a contradiction. Why? Because we know who Canelo's fought. When it comes to both of these guys, Crawford and Benavidez, you fought Jermell Charlo, who moved up from 154. Jermell was undisputed at 154, moved up to fight you. Crawford just fought at 154, and he's willing to move up and fight you. And everybody feel like Crawford's a much dangerous opponent. Crawford had stopped, before Madrimov, he stopped at least 10 guys in a row. Before Victor Postal, he stopped another 10 guys before that. He's a knockout artist. He's a phenomenal boxer with a great IQ. He has the skills, but he's a knockout artist. And he's more dangerous. Most people would believe that he's more dangerous than Jermell Charlo. Now, do I believe that weight is an issue for Bud? Absolutely. How many times I have to repeat that to you guys? Crawford even said it himself early on. But if you're cool with fighting Edgar Berlanga, who's much bigger than you, clearly, Jaime Munguia, bigger, Junior Macabo, you guys remember that? Cruiserweight. You had a presser right after the Plant fight, not even a week later. You became undisputed and had a press conference with a cruiserweight and Junior Macabo. According to Bottle Jack, Bottle Jack turned down the fight with you because as a cruiserweight champ, after beating Junior Macabo, he was willing to come down to 190 to fight you. You wanted him to come down to 180. So he turned it down. You were cool with fighting Kovalev. You were cool with fighting Bivol at 175. But for Benavidez, you want 200 million? Is this the same Benavidez that you guys say don't have any pay-per-view buys, that don't have any good wins, that's overrated? Is this the same guy? 200 million? Come on, guys. It's clear as day what's happening here. And I think if everybody was just like real about it, it wouldn't be a problem. Like Canelo is Listen, he's trying to take as little risk at this point. He already done it. He's been in there with Triple G. He's been in there with Floyd, Lara, Bivol. All right? He's been in there. He's done it. Trout. All good fights. But if you're trying to take the least amount of risk at this stage of your career, it is what it is. Just say it. If the PBC is willing to pay you 30, 40, 50 million, whatever it is they're paying you to fight guys like Jermell Charlo, Jaime Munguia, Edgar Berlanga, if they're willing to pay you that money for those kind of fights, I ain't mad at it. I ain't no hater. Same thing with Crawford. If Black Prime was going to pay him $10 million to fight David Avanesian, and he's sitting out trying to get a Spence fight, and he's just chilling, taking a quick $10 million to fight on Black Prime, why not? So I get it. Yo, if you get the phone call for an easy fight and they're willing to pay you millions, tens of millions, take it. But these narratives that was pushed about Benavidez to make it seem like Benavidez was ducking and he was doing this and doing that, that's bullshit. You said it yourself, Canelo. It's the risk. I want 200 million for the risk. Now, when it comes to Crawford, why do you need 150 million to fight Crawford? Is it the risk too? It can't just be because of his size, because you was cool to fight Jermell Charlo. And this is what I mean. When it comes to size, whether you go smaller or bigger guys, you've done both. You had a guy that just moved up 2 divisions to fight you. And you had bigger fights that you almost were willing to take. Like, listen, it's your life, it's your career. Do what you want. But let's stop pushing these things that are not true. Because Canelo is saying himself, it's the risk. But Benavidez has been at junior or super middleweight for years. He just had his first fight at 175. I mean, I don't know how big Berlanga is or how much bigger Benavidez is compared to Berlanga, but he ain't that much bigger than Berlanga. Berlanga is huge standing next to Canelo. And a lot of other fighters have been bigger, but they were cool. But it's the risk, not just weight, because of talent. I've been telling you guys since before Canelo fought Callum Smith, David Benavidez is different. He would be the most dangerous one. And he had even lesser fights back then. And I know he screwed himself out of the title because of, on the scale, he lost. Because of recreational drugs, he lost. He got stripped twice. That's his bad. That's his fault. But Canelo is aware of the risk of that fight. And it's not just weight. Because history shows that you were okay with fighting guys that were bigger than you, as long as you had, outside of the Bivol fight, there was a talent gap. Some of you were saying after the Plant fight that he should fight Usyk. You guys remember that? But now Benavidez is just 25 plus pounds more. Now it's a problem. No, stylistically, it's a nightmare. Let's be honest. It's a stylistic nightmare. You got to deal with a pressure fight. Canelo gasses. He gassing his Bivol, and he's not even a pressure fighter. Well, in a way, he's kind of like a pressure counterpuncher. But Benavidez is more volume. It's a stylistic nightmare for Canelo at this stage of his career. So if he's going to take that fight, he has to get paid way more than what even though some of the fighters he's fought as either just as big of a name as Benavidez or even a bigger name than Benavidez. But you guys created these narratives that make it seem like Benavidez wasn't worthy of the fight when he's fighting guys like John Ryder and Berlanga. Y'all okay with that? And I see your comments. Anytime I make a Canelo video, it's the same people that come around nut hugging. Like, we can all, listen, Canelo's the face of boxing. Period. You guys don't have to bring up Tank. You guys don't have to bring up all these other fighters. Canelo's the face. Canelo has the resume. Canelo has the pay-per-views. I don't go there. I've never have. Canelo is that dude. But these fights that he's been having like recently, since the Bivol fight, they're not quality fights. They're just okay. They're okay. But we're 5 fights in a row. And we're getting Berlanga, old Triple G, Jamel Charlo moving up 2 weights, ran the whole fight. John Ryder, cool, solid boxer, but come on. Jaime Munguia, we didn't know that to fight. The guy barely survived against Deverenchenko. Come on, y'all. Like, Benavidez is better than those guys. He's more dangerous than those guys. And Crawford, even though he's smaller, we know he's more talented than all of them. So there's a risk there. Because even though this guy is smaller, what if he's able to box his way to a decision? Then the fight's Canelo, you know what I mean? Like, come on. So, look, Canelo could do what he wants. I will continue to say that. It's his career. He could do what he wants to do. But let's not act like he's not cherry picking, because he is. And I'm not saying he's not deserving of it. I'm just saying let's kill all these narratives that's been pushed over these last few years. If Canelo wants to take these easy fights, let's just make it clear. It's about the risk. And the risk is too high, he's going to give you a super crazy high number. Or he's not going to do it. That's the reality. All right? Anyway, that's how I feel about that, man. Berlanga presser, the second presser is today. I saw a little clip of it before I cut this video on. You know, I seen them back and forth with Berlanga and Plant. It's fun to watch. You know, I mean, Berlanga is doing his best to sell it, and I think he's doing a good job. I like the fact that he's not being super respectful to Canelo. Again, like I said on Twitter, I just hope he has that energy in the ring. You know, but let's be real. It's nothing that he can do because there's too much of a talent gap between Canelo and Edgar Berlanga. Too much, you know. Excuse me. And that's how I feel about that. All right, but as far as Canelo, let him make his money. But he said it. Making money, but let's be clear. These are easy fights he's taking because the PBC offered him a lot of money to take some easy fights. And that's what we're getting right now. Is everybody else going to get it? No. This is why Turki Alalshikh is there. Because you're going to fight over here. We'll pay you. But you got to fight real dudes. But even Canelo is getting to a point where, all right, like, listen, we're going to pay you. But, like, let's not get crazy. Like, $200 million, this is not Conor McGregor against Floyd. This is not Manny Pacquiao against Floyd where you're getting hundreds of millions. No, this is against Benavidez and Crawford. I'm not trying to shit on them. I'm just saying, like, there's levels to fame and pay-per-views and purses. All right? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Please subscribe. As always, if you like the content, like the video and share the video as well. I'm out. Peace.